This is Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom. Words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today you'll consider this as your vitamin and supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom? Leave a rating and a brief written review. It'll enable others to be able to find this podcast. Today I want to talk about leading through tough times. Now, regardless of what's happening in the world right now as you're listening to this podcast, I am recording this during the midst of a worldwide sort of a crisis, a difficulty, and just thought I'd jump on and record a podcast and just talk about what do you do when you have to lead through tough times. There are going to be hard times for all of us. There are some tough times that are internal to our family or the organization that we're a part of. There are sometimes that there are tough times through economic or political factors in the particular country where we live and what's happening. But regardless, and then again, there are times when it will be international emergencies. But right now, let's make it just generic enough of how do you lead through difficult and hard time. Listen, my friends, setbacks happen. We all face difficult times periodically. As a matter of fact, the only constant in life right now is change, and it's happening rapidly, and there seems to be times when it's happening at warp speed. Reverses happen to everyone. Things that go up come down. You all know every one of those cliches. But if you are in any kind of a leadership capacity at any level in your life, you're going to have to lead through tough times. So what do you do? Well, the very first thing that this causes us to have to evaluate is, first and foremost, you have to lead yourself. Self-leadership. You have to continually be preparing your skill set, talking to other people who in their lives have gone through a time of crisis. And you can do it, and it can happen, and you'll make it. One of the things is, if you don't know yourself, you're going to be in big trouble as a leader, because you may not be able to fool a lot of people, but I've met a lot of leaders who are fooling themselves and aren't quite aware. And the important part is to develop some self-awareness, and that would be leading yourself, whether it's learning, whether it's remaining calm, whether it is collecting data, whether it is holding meetings. You just have to lead yourself. And in leading yourself, you are showing people a way forward, how to get through what we're doing. And that's the second thing. When you are in a hard place, and if you're in a hard place today, start right where you are. If you're not in a hard or difficult place of leadership today, you can just count on it. It's going to happen. And you must keep your head, especially when things are given to passion and emotions. You have to keep your head. And the first thing under that is think things through. Don't just react to the emotion. I made a recording to a group of folks that I'm leading at this time. You do have to act decisively, but don't go too fast. Go fast, but not too fast. You have to think things through. Oftentimes, if we would sit down, calm ourselves for a moment, and think about what may be the unintended consequence if we follow a particular course of action. Just think it through. Remain cool and calm. And I asked a person years ago when I was a young leader, this person just seemed to always have a presence that was a calming effect, always seemed to be in control of their emotions, never seemed frustrated. They were really just fairly much unflappable. And I asked them, how is it that you just remain calm, cool, and collected, even when you're going through a difficult time? The person looked at me and said, Ron, it takes a lot of practice. Same thing with thinking things through. You might need to bounce some ideas off of someone else, but just sit down and think your way through. And sometimes you'll have to do that with a with a computer program. Sometimes you'll have to do that with a piece of paper and a pen. And just write down what might be the consequence. What might be something that would happen that would be unforeseen to me right now? And will this decision have some long-term implications that we need to work our way through? And in the area of being calm and cool is, if you're a spiritual person, it's a wonderful time for prayer and meditation, realizing you're not alone, that there is a source of help. And so what you need to do is do whatever it is to get yourself calm, in a better place, where you are able to literally think the things through that you're going through right now. And so think them through, remain cool and calm, whether that's just to quiet your heart. Again, if you're a prayer or you read the Bible, that would be good. Or just breathing, going through some breathing exercises. Just get yourself calm. I know that at a particular stressful time in my life, when my wife and I were going through some difficulties with our family and other situations, I would remember that I would exercise. Exercise helped me to uh, reduce the stress, to keep myself calm, to take care of yourself. Just do those things. I think as you begin to communicate, it's important at this time to be very clear and very precise in your communication. I just discovered by sending out a letter to some folks last night with some directives that it is very important to communicate, and to what I periodically call over communicate. I thought a letter that I sent out was very plain, straightforward, what needed to happen, and found that someone who received the letter did not know how to interpret it. So really go through the forest of what you're saying and make sure that what you're communicating is clear, precise, and it's understandable. One of the reasons you need to lead yourself, and one of the reasons you need to think through these things and remain cool and calm and be clear in your communication, is anyone can hold the helm when the sea is calm. Anyone can be a leader when the finances are up and the morale is high and everything is working toward expansion and growth and productivity, and where you are, things have never been better. But your real leadership is going to be tested and proven in the times where it's not as easy. So a part of that keeping calm and cool and collected is listening to others. We're going to, especially at this time, I mean, this is something we should be doing all the time, but especially at this time, we need to listen, and we need to listen with empathy. If you're under stress, leader, if you know the pressure that's going on, and you know the pressure that comes from having to make a decision, this has infiltrated throughout the entire organization, our families, wherever it is that we lead. And one of the best leadership habits we can develop at this time is not to just merely listen, but to listen with empathy, to really feel and understand where the person is coming from and what their perspective is and how they are interpreting what's going on. Something I have had to learn, and at times I'm still not real great at, is don't talk over the people. Give the people ample opportunity to communicate what's on their mind and heart. I have tried, as I'm listening empathetically, to make sure that I really understood and I'm really understanding what they're saying. I have a habit of trying to paraphrase what I heard they say. I don't just parrot it back in the same words they used, but I paraphrase it to see, was this in fact what you were saying? The other thing that comes when people like us have been in positions of leadership is we are always eager, almost over-eager, to give people advice. I mean, after all, I think we think that's what we do for a living. And when we're listening to people empathetically and trying to hear them out and hear what they have to say, one of the other areas where I have to really work at is waiting for them to ask for advice, not me just immediately saying A plus B equals C, do this, this, and this, and it's all going to turn out okay. Let them ask for advice. They may very well and more than likely do know exactly what it is they should be doing, and they're not really asking you for specific advice. They're merely trying to find someone to listen to them as they talk their way through how they plan to advance through their present situation. And it's all right. There are folks who have done that for us in our lives. The least we can do at this point in our lives is to offer that same grace to someone else. Again, the priority in this kind of a time is to remain calm. We've already talked to that. But don't be so calm that you come across as dispassionate, that you don't care what happens to people or your organization. You need to be calm as in I'm under control, but I understand the emotion. I understand that where we are is fraught with danger and angst, but I am here to be a calming influence. Leader, don't run around screaming and hollering, the sky is falling like everyone else is doing. That is not the position that the leader needs to take. You need to begin to work a plan, find a plan, communicate the plan, and help to delineate a course of action that will get us from where we are today to where we need to be. And nearly everything that happens in life has happened somewhere before. People have worked their way through a crisis, and they will get through it, and they will get through this. We just need to be calm, not like we don't care or have no emotion. We also have to come to understand that just because folks think something right now that they're going through is a problem does not make everything a national emergency. You and I are going to have to discern when this is just a fact of life, a problem that happens in life, and or the other possibility. This is something that is unique. It's a big challenge, but together we are going to get through it. You were put in a position of leadership, my friend, for such an hour as this. We need you in leadership, not for when the waters are calm and the sailing is smooth. We are depending on you, leader, to get us through the choppy, difficult waters that we are trying to navigate right now. And you have the skill set, you have the abilities, you can do it. We're counting on you to help get us through these difficult days. You have been listening to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom. Words on leadership, goal setting, productivity, and a whole lot more. I trust today that this was indeed like a vitamin and a supplement for your mind and heart. And wherever you receive podcasts from, would you please subscribe to Dr. Ron's Words of Wisdom? And leader, remember, even in the difficult days you may be facing right now, you are doing better than you think you are, and your people are depending on you to be the right kind of leader, and I know that you are. And until next time, this is Dr. Ron saying, have a great and blessed day.